sip of this real quick. Welcome, everybody, to Season 2 of On the Red Couch. Wow. Alright, cool. So,
we are back. Season 2.
Season 2.
I guess. Yeah.
Now we have video.
Hey.
We're hanging out in the garage, the sanctuary.
Right.
And this is where we decided to do Season 2. We're still on the red couch.
So let's explain a little bit about that. First of all, we also have another person here on the couch with us.
I know. We've got Luis.
What's up, y'all? I'm Coco. Luis, you know.
Yeah. We're hanging out. We're hanging out in the sanctuary. You know, we're really switching it up this time around.
A little bit of an upgrade, right?
Yeah, just a little bit. It's little by little.
We got two
mics
camera angles.
Yeah,
This is great.
We got two camera angles, but we don't got 3 stands. You know, at some
Right.
point we'll graduate
Yes.
to 3 microphones. But until then,
You say you don't like the Franzia box ones that we have as tripods right now?
They
Bro,
can't see that
they
right
can't
now, but
see that.
that's okay.
Fine, we know. It's cool. We'll shoot behind the
they
scenes
don't
one day.
know, but we know.
Exactly.
Crystalia fans, if anybody's a Crystalia fan, you get
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. You know, you don't have to get all the references, bro. But here we are in the sanctuary. So where do we want to start? Actually, let's first start with how are you? How are you guys doing?
That's a great way to start.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm doing good.
Yeah?
Swell here.
Nice. Pun intended.
But I am recently graduated.
Ooh,
and
oh yeah, bro! Round of applause to all our graduates. Coco here
Class
is
of
also a
2020.
graduate.
Yes, Coco as well.
Yeah, I'm not there yet, but you know we'll get there.
You know,
Slow and steady wins the race, you know.
That's what I'm saying.
we all have different paths, but it's definitely an accomplishment.
The rat race.
The Rat Race. I love that movie.
No, that's Ratatouille.
Gotcha.
Ratatouille. You don't have to get that close. You could stay like this far, you know, and you'll still.
Yeah, we
this
could
one?
probably hold it. Like
Yeah, you could
right
also
here in the
switch it
middle.
back.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
good. That's good.
This is interesting. I love that we're on the red couch. The most like important part to me was that we were still on the red couch.
Yeah, it's in a new spot.
Yeah.
Different
New setting.
place, right? So you mentioned the sanctuary.
The sanctuary, yes,
oh,
sir.
actually, hold on, Miguel. How are you?
Thank you, Swell, for asking that. I'm doing great. Honestly, there's been a lot of cool stuff going on that I think we could talk about. But yeah, just feeling good. Released a mixtape not too long ago.
Oh yeah, Sanctuary Tape Volume 1.
Yeah,
baby.
bro.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about all that.
Right.
But
I'm just excited. I'm bursting at the seams right now, you know?
bro, he's like straight chilling. Look at him. He's
this
just like kicking back.
And now you can't see him. So
Oh yeah. You know, I think that this is what's gonna take us to the top, bro.
Yeah.
These videos.
Why not?
You're gonna capture our mannerisms.
The essence.
Yeah.
the essence.
Our presence. But anyway, yeah. So I'm doing good. I'm doing great. I'm
Great,
glad that we
great.
are.
And Coco.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing swell, you know? I'm
You
doing
can
pretty
get
good.
Okay.
Well, you said this distance is fine, right? This,
That's not what I said. I said this distance is fine.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let me make sure. All right, cool. So, like, I'm doing pretty good, guys. You know, just here in the sanctuary, this safe space that we want to just hone in on anyone that comes visits. Then you got some big plans for the future, and I'm just continue thinking about that. And I think it's going to be a really good time.
Yeah.
Very good time.
Have you ever done a podcast?
No. No.
You know when they in Steve Harvey's show, what's that called? The Family Feud, and they answer a question and they get really close to the mic. That's kind of what you reminded me of.
They're like titties.
They're like, whatever the fuck it is
That
that they
happened on the show?
Probably. I don't know.
So I like that someone just goes on that show. They're like, Steve Harvey, titties. Just like,
Put up titties.
I should put on the headphones and see how
let's
you
see what the
sound.
people said. Titties is not on the board. Just like,
Who would have thought, bro? Okay, what are we?
Okay, anyway, so let's get a little bit
This is great. I'm loving it.
let's get a little bit back on track. We've been talking about being in the new spot, the sanctuary,
Yeah.
which is really a new spot for kind of all of us. So you know who, and Coco, I would say this is kind of your baby, your kind of creation here
Yeah.
that we all get to enjoy. So you want to talk a little bit about
The sanctuary.
the sanctuary?
Damn, what do we got to say about the sanctuary? You know, this is a safe space, hub for people to orbit. Some might
some might call us the sun.
Okay. Well, let's do some.
No, but like going back just on that line, like we actually wrote down the manifesto, and we have like something that people can read, because I feel like in order to create a safe space, everyone kind of has to be on the same page. You know, like everyone has to
Ooh,
know, like
bars.
you have to. everyone has to be in the same space. Everyone has to be very safe with who they are as a person. Bow. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, like, you know, like, you're not going to get the full, like, you're not going to be as efficient, as productive, as complete as a person unless you are in that safe space, and that's what we want to hone in on. You know?
And I think that when we wrote out the manifesto, we were literally in the garage, you know, just like talking, and we're like, yo, we should come up with like a thing, because what we did realize, and even though there have been people who are kind of like, what does that even mean? Da, 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 da. Most people they read it and they're like, whoa, that's, I had somebody say like, oh, that's like poetry, you know, and they'll see that and they're like, oh, cool, actually, yeah, we can just hang out in here. And so many weird things have happened in here, like not in a bad way, but just like weird, like different, like we didn't expect them. But for sure, I think that manifesto had something to do with it.
I think going back on that, it's like we get like a bunch of different types of people, and I think that's what you mean by like weird. You know, it's like we have to like, you know, just be around so many different types of people and like kind of like problem solve for any sort of thing that happens.
Yeah.
And it's kind of it's really interesting, you know, like you grow as an individual, but you know that person grows as an individual as themselves.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just like this community forming, and I think that's what we really want to accomplish, you know.
Yeah, and I think we have been like accomplishing it, you know. I think it's cool to still be able to have things like my sister came out here, you know, and did a dance video, you know, like that was a big thing for me. I was like, whoa, you know, brought a random saxophone player, you know, like
we really had this saxophone out here,
bro.
That's
insane.
insane.
Man, that was sexy, bro.
That was cool.
If you guys haven't checked it out, my sister, it's Sarah Aguilera, she posted some stuff out on YouTube, bro. Amazing dancing, but then also the saxophone player, me doing the djembe. It was a lot of cool stuff, you know. But yeah, I'm so glad that we were able to like create this space. And so I think that it just felt right, since the red couch was sitting out here. It was just felt right to do the podcast out here again and bring back On the Red Couch season 2.
Season 2.
Look right at the camera.
Season
Don't forget
2.
it.
Yeah, we're here,
Season
and we're here to stay for a cool
2.
minute.
Yeah.
What actually, so yeah, on the sanctuary, is there anything else that you want to say like about the sanctuary?
Just wait on it. Follow our IG for updates.
Sheesh.
Live from the sanctuary.
Follow at Live from the Sanctuary, yes sir.
And you'll see some more updates.
Yeah, damn, bro, I love the
heard that.
confidence, bro.
Wait on it.
He said, "Just wait on it, bro.
Yeah.
just wait on it." No, but so for you, like coming back and doing like, you know, On the Red Couch, how does it feel? Like, you know, are you excited? I feel like you would be. But
I am excited. I think we're coming a long way. It's only the first episode, but
yeah.
we've definitely, you know, had some upgrades that we've talked about. I think the space, it has improved. As you could probably tell by the sound, we're outside. The door's open.
The door is open, yeah.
For anyone to come in, and that's kind of what the space means, right?
Yeah.
So.
It's exactly what we like intended. But yeah, I think that you'll probably hear some birds. You'll probably hear some cars driving by. But this is literally like, if we're not having an event, this is what we're doing, just hanging out in the garage.
Very chill spot, yeah.
You know.
So as far as the podcast, yeah, I'm excited. We get to talk about topics and things that we care about. Me and you know who.
Yeah.
Had a little talk about like not wanting to limit ourselves to one specific topic the entire time.
The first time, the first season,
right? We kind of
On the Red Couch.
We tried to focus on entertainment with other things tied in, but
yeah,
I think it is good for us to just talk on what we care about, what is important at the time, and have our people, you know, connect with us through who we are, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, I think that this is cool. This is dope. I'm glad that and it's funny to think, because I think that, I'll say this, I don't know about y'all, but I don't know how seasons work, you know? so to call this season 2 is just funny to just think of season 1, you know, as that. But I think that I did hear a lot of people who were like, "Yo, bring back the podcast," and I didn't even realize that people listened to the podcast. So it's kind of cool, that, you know what I mean, for people to want it back. And so I think that we have created a good enough environment to where we can just bring random artists. If you guys want to come on, like if there's any creative people who want to just jump on and talk about social issues or art, or politics, or
to promote yourself, or
anything. You know, just
hey, let me ask you guys something real quick.
What's
so
up?
why did you guys start the Red Couch?
Oh, that's a good. Oh, you brought it back, bro. He said, "You're gonna ask me about the sanctuary. Let me ask you about On the Red Couch."
Okay.
Yeah, I'll let you answer that. Why did we do this?
That was almost a little bit over a year ago. We kind of started it, and we were still in the little. Let's just do shit. Let's try crazy shit. And I mean, I guess we are still doing that, right?
Yeah, facts.
So it was just kind of a thing that we knew podcasts were coming up. Mm-hmm. You always want to be ahead of the wave, ahead of the, trends. Mm-hmm. So as just young people in college with extra time and a lot of passion, we wanted to just try it out, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, for sure. I wanted to hear your side because I mean, for me, it was just I've always loved microphones and doing audio stuff. Like, no bullshit. Like, I've been making music for like ever. So to me, it wasn't too like out there to be like, hey, let me start a podcast. For me, it was like I didn't want to do it by myself because I didn't want to be a personality. You know what I mean? Like, if you do, like, you're in front of the camera, you're like, hey guys, welcome to, you know what I mean? Like, it just kind of feels like unnatural. Like so yeah, so I wanted somebody else, and I pitched the idea to Jacob, and I was like, yo, let's do a podcast. And Jacob was like, yeah, fuck it. And I think that it worked that we both are kind of like in the same industry, like the entertainment industry. That's what we want to get into, and so we could kind of bounce off each other, and I knew it would work, I think.
On top of that, we've also made music, right?
Oh yeah.
We've
that's
been
a good
working together.
segue. Yeah,
right.
That's a good segue. Yo, so outside of the podcast, though, going into the music shit, bro, I'm like so glad that you made it onto Sanctuary Tapes Volume 1. Not gonna lie. Like,
I was surprised. I'll be honest.
Yeah, because but it sounded good though, didn't it?
It did.
And you too.
Yeah, did Miguel tell you that he was gonna use that song?
Yes, he did.
I asked him for permission.
He asked permission.
Yeah.
Which I was, pleased with.
Yeah.
No, I said yes. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the only reason it's on there, guys, because I asked Swell.
I just think it's so funny because Miguel has all these songs from like his past and stuff that he doesn't use, And then this one time, like, he's just like scrolling through his song list, and then he's like, "Hey, bro, check this track out. I made this like a while back," and it says like featuring Swell. And he's like, "Yeah, bro, me and Jacob went on in this track, bro. Like, it's crazy." And I was just like, "Damn, bro, like." You just have all of these just in your archive, Just
random songs, man. I didn't really like consider it this until like I was hanging out with some of my friends in LA, and it's like there's sessions when people are just in here and we're working on stuff, like there's sessions, and I didn't realize how many sessions we had. Like, dude, there's a lot of stuff from that whole era, where we had a lot of just random vocals. People jumped on tracks. They made ad libs, random stuff. And so that's why when I heard that song, I knew that I was gonna put what is it called? After Keep the Movie Moving. What is it called? Not Wobble, because that's where you got on. The one in between. I literally forgot my own song. Different Vision. Yeah, I knew that I wanted to put that song out because I had that one like in my archives for a while. But I was like trying to find another one, and I knew that I wanted the mixtape to be really short. So I was like, scrolling through all my music, and eventually I find this small, just little clip, bro. 2 verses, no chorus, no like nothing. It's just like literally us going off. And I was like, this is it. This is the move right here. Like, and it. Shout out to Leslie too. She's the one who told me to put that one as the last song, because she's like, "Fuck it, bro. Just like talk your shit, have that be the last one." And I was like, "Yeah, that's the move, And so I'm glad that I found it first of all, but also that you jumped on, bro. How many tracks have you like jumped on now?
I don't have a number specifically, but that song is old, right?
It is old.
I remember writing that a long time ago. Mm-hmm. And it's still made it. It's still relevant, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, bro. The part that you say, quiero stop and like the police be shooting. I was like, why is that still hitting? Why is that still? But it's true. Like, I
think that's the thing I like about music, and you're gonna be like, oh, good segue, but like that's the thing I like about music.
It is a good segue,
because
I see you.
It's because like artists like they share their story, and it's like having the conversation that a lot of people are too scared to have, and I think that's something that artists do particularly well,
Yeah.
Do you guys have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I feel like I hate you, bro.
What a great segue.
What a great segue, bro. Oh my god, we're gonna have a great time, bro. These podcasts
season
are gonna be these. I know season 2 is about to be hella fucking lit. But no, I do think that right now we're at a very like prominent time in art. Like there is so much art coming out, but it's because there's so much shit going on.
Right.
And so to just like as an artist, this is the inspiration you need. Like you need to be on the stuff that's going on, like, and just say. And I think that it's like our like that's our job. You know, we need to voice the shit that other people don't want to say. You know, that's why some art, some like music or some sounds cheesy, is because they're not tackling like, yo, don't act like we're not in the middle of COVID. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, don't act like we're not in the middle of a fucking social revolution. Like,
Right.
face that shit and be the one. Be the, like, we're the soldiers. You know what I mean? Like, we're the ones that are putting our face out there and like, yo, this is how we're feeling. You know, and so I do think that right now is a really like, sorry, I went on a rant, but like it's a really good time for art, you know, and it's like, do it.
Right. I think it's really important, especially if you can express yourself in a different way, like, you know, creatively.
Yeah.
To be able to do that and put a message out there that can possibly change someone's mind,
Yeah.
educate them, or even just express how you're feeling at the time. Someone else is probably also feeling that way.
Yeah.
Right.
You know who I have been listening to, and I kind of slept on him. I don't know how you guys feel about him, but do you guys know NF, the rapper?
Yeah, I've heard some songs. I've heard some songs.
He is. I listened to his shit yesterday, and I kind of was going through his kind of the whole discography, and like he kind of from the beginning was like, "Dude, I'm just doing this to express myself. Like I need this." And then but I know he's gotten bigger and bigger. He's underground big, you know. So like he won't like he's had one commercial hit or maybe like 2 commercial hits, but most of his stuff is, and he says it in his music. He's like, yo, if only you knew how many people show up to my shows, and it's like they're like, yo, your music saved my life. So it's like just by saying the stuff that you're dealing with, you're going to talk to somebody who is most likely dealing with the same thing, you know. And that's, I think, the beauty of art, because like 5 years later I'm still listening to his album and like low-key tearing up. I'm like, whoa, I feel that, I've been there, you know. But yeah, for sure, I think that that's the power of art, and I think that we're just in the beginning, bro. This, like, things are just going to get crazier, which mean art is just going to get bigger.
Right.
You know?
I mean, that's like something we talked about, like, before we did this podcast. Like, we're talking about whether or not we're going into, like, a modern renaissance, you know? Like, an art renaissance, and, yeah, I strongly believe that. I mean, even just, like, the activity on, like, social media right now, and, like, everyone producing their own work, selling it. It's like, you know, art is becoming more of a business. Art is becoming more about, like, what you want to put out there, and it's just, I mean, like you guys said, like, you just have to be authentic to your own story and stuff, and then some people will gravitate to it, you know. They will find solidarity with you and your art, you know what I'm saying?
I do.
Yeah, I do know what you're saying. This leads me to ask 2 questions. One, do you think that now people are starting to view art as business? Because I believe that before they did it, people were always like, no, like, it's not about the money, it's not about the business, it's about like feeling, you know. Do you think that that is changing now, or you know what I mean, or what do you think about like how art is moving?
I think the way art used to move is most of the power and most of the wealth was it just surrounded like a group of wealthy like people, you know, because they would purchase that art and then deem what should be popular and what shouldn't be popular. And now the artists themselves are realizing that they don't want those people to have that same power anymore.
Yeah.
So they'd rather have the power within the masses, you know, the masses of people who are producing that art. So, you know, that's how we reclaim our power as artists, you know, is like understanding the value of business and understanding that we can do a lot more good than those people who choose what is good and what isn't good.
So like labels and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Like people who kind of like, because I think that right now we're also entering a time where artists are kind of independent. They're doing their own stuff, you know, and I think that goes into what you're saying, like Chance the Rapper, Russ, you know, like these big artists that are now huge, but it's like they're independent, they own their stuff, they don't, you know, and like Run the Jewels was always talking about own your masters and stuff like that, you know. So yeah, I do think that I'm just going off of you, like you're right, you know, we're taking the power that art has to ourselves. So it's like, nah, you don't decide what, you know, what I should say with my art, you know?
Definitely.
I agree. I might have like slightly a different perspective because I, you know, went to school for film and stuff, and that to me has
Hashtag class of 2020.
Hashtag class of 2020. But like in the film industry, since for a while now, has always kind of been a business, right?
Yeah,
and
true.
for a long time, specifically movies, but art also in general, like they feared art that goes against, you know, the norms and beliefs of society, right?
Yeah.
And so there were a lot of laws to, you know, make movies a specific way, and that's why we have so many like reinforced ideas about race and sex and gender, all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because bringing it around is that I do think that art has the power to change people's minds. And when you let anyone do that, people of color, queer people, like, express themselves, it's just naturally gonna start a revolution, right? We're just like opening the doors.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, oh, look, let me tell you what I'm feeling. Oh, this goes into something, and it's in Dave Chappelle thing that we watched, where he says the cure for America is in South Africa. And he's like, because he's saying that, like, the apartheid was supposed to be a bloodbath, but, like, it wasn't, because at the end, literally all that, like, Nelson Mandela and all these guys, like, they decided, like, they were like, yo, no, let's all say what we did, you know, for the system, you know. And so right now, this whole artist revolution type thing that we're facing, I think it's just people expressing themselves and showing, like, yo, this is what I dealt with, this is what I did, this is what I feel, you know. And so for everybody to keep doing that, I think that's why we're going through this, because it's just like, well, we in America specifically, like, we need to say our story, because you're obviously not caring about my story. You obviously don't know my story. And I need to tell people this, because if not, they're going to keep thinking that what you're doing is right.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree. And I think that's the exact reason why Confederate statues are being pulled down.
Yeah.
Is to change the story, because that there's always more than one side, right? And, you know, just to tell that part, that side, and shed light on it, should always be important.
Yeah, no, yeah, go ahead.
I think, like, being a part of this too is, you know, you see a lot of activism being shared on social media, and I saw this chart on Instagram recently, and it was like the number of days that protests lasted in order for actual change to happen. I think we're on day like 22 now of like protests happening for this ever since George Floyd, you know, died. Yeah, rest in peace. And, you know, we're on day 22, and I see all of these comparisons, and we have like protests that lasted 300 days. We had protests that lasted like 200 days, you know, and like, you know, it just puts things into perspective to like be living in a time like this where we really have to like just like come together, you know. Makes it really real. And
I guess that's why I think that art is so important, you know, like, you got to say your story right now. This is the time, you know, like, tell people how were you affected, how are you, but then also, and I think that this is what's omitted a lot of the times, also say how you're guilty.
Absolutely.
What did you do to add into the system? You know what I mean? Like, what? Because, like, I'm not going to sit here and act like I've been a saint, and I'm not trying to be a saint. That's another thing. I'm not trying to be perfect. Right. You know, like,
it's accountability. Yeah,
but it's like, say what you did. You know what I mean? Like, what? And you know, it's not like a call out now, but like, just to have in mind, like, what have you done that has added to the system? You know, is that like buying a new chain, you know, being racist? You know, like, have you had thoughts of like, have you made gay jokes? Like, whatever the fuck. Like, what did you do? And just think about it, and just you know, don't act like you didn't.
Right.
Just like,
you know what? I think that would add another dimension in a lot of the art that we produce. You know,
ooh,
it's
yeah,
like
bro,
definitely like
ready,
being accountable.
Man.
They're not ready, but we're having that conversation so we can be ready. You know what I mean?
Just start
like,
prepping it, because low key,
exactly.
Yeah, and I think that's why I remember that song. Like, I have this idea for another song that I want to do, and it's like, I kind of want to be foul, but like not just for the sake of being foul, for the sake of just being like, yo, this is what I've done, and I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm lying, but if you cancel me over me saying some shit like this, then obviously you're not trying to have the conversation, bro.
Let me go back to that keyword, like, cancel culture.
Oh,
opinions on that. I personally, I do not think cancel culture is propelling us forward in any way. I think it's just restricting that conversation. Yeah. And I think that, you know, more people are just hiding. Like, the tweet you showed me recently, Donald Trump was like, the silent majority wins once again, you know? Like, there are a lot of people who feel the opposite of us, you know?
Me up, bro. Yeah.
There are a lot of people that feel the opposite of what we keep saying.
And they stay quiet.
But we, as like people who gravitate to social media, we think that everyone is on the same page because everyone retweets, everyone has all these reposts about the same thing that we believe.
Just because you have 100,000 or a fucking 1,000 or even 100 like retweets does not mean you're like doing anything. Like,
looking at the cameras, yeah.
No, and I'm saying that shit because it's just like, yo, if Trump could literally go to Oklahoma and fucking sell out, you know what I mean? His whole like arena, just come on, bro. You think those people are out here retweeting our little like BLM fucking hashtags? Like,
well, I want to tackle that. I think it is doing something. It's just not doing what we think it's doing.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at. Yeah, I mean, it is doing shit. I'm also very excessive and exaggerative, but I do think like it's not as much as we're saying. We got to do other shit, and that's why some people are like, "Oh, you don't do enough," and it's like, no, I'm personally feel like I am doing the most that I can, you know, in my own expressive way, you know. And it's like just because it doesn't look like it to you, like I don't need to show you on Instagram everything that I'm working on. Like I don't need to cut every single song and show you what lyrics I was breaking shit down fucking 5 years ago. Like,
did you guys listen to J. Cole's new song? Snow on the Bluff.
No, what? There's a new song.
It goes
Breaking news, bro. What?
Shout out J. Cole. 2014, Forest Hills Drive went platinum with no features.
Yes.
Double platinum. Wow.
That's dope.
That was a song during that was the album during high school for sure.
Yeah.
That was a throwback. But anyway, going back to the point. So Snow on the Bluff, he talks about that. He talks about like he's like, you know, I'm not on Twitter. I'm not talking all about this activism and stuff like that. I mean, you see me on the streets, the protests and stuff, and that's what I can do.
Yeah.
I put out these songs, and that's what I can do. You know,
Yeah.
like you just said.
Yeah.
He calls out No Name, and I love No Name too. Shout out No Name.
Oh, No Name.
But No Name is this person that speaks out a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he even says like it's no ill will towards her. It's just more like he says like you're more intelligent than me, so I see where you're coming from and everything like that. That's just not what I'm about.
Ooh.
But
Interesting.
it creates
I
like
wanna hear this.
it's good. But he's like you know, it creates a divide amongst us because we're like, why aren't you doing more? Why aren't you doing more? And that ends up just bringing down the whole movement in a way, you know.
Facts.
Agreed.
Yeah, and it silences people. You know, like it makes people who like want to say something not want to say something because like, yo, you're not. I guess you're not like cool with what I'm saying, or you know what I mean. Like it's like if you want us to accept anybody who expresses themselves, let people express themselves freely. And if they say some shit that doesn't match up with what you're saying, then okay, go tell them that, but don't fucking expect them to like view the world like, yo, we all got different experiences, bro. Like
come from a place of love.
Yeah, exactly. Like don't go out just to hate like, you're not doing enough, fuck what you're saying. It's like, nah, bro, like at least they said something.
Facts.
Instead of just staying in their fucking house and voting Trump, you know, quietly.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And
Or not voting at all.
Or exactly. So, I agree. Well, this was good. I'm gonna be tagged into this one.
it is a good conversation, and it's about just like approaching everyone, no matter what they might believe, with the same love that you would want to feel. Right?
Yeah.
If they are living their life in hate, then they're gonna just be miserable, right?
Yeah.
But I think the divide that it like going after each other because people aren't being as big of a voice as they maybe should, or whatever, it definitely like can scare some people. Like I've seen influencers like go down to zero and have their which do they deserve that? Have they done something so wrong? Like maybe not, but it's also like they have a platform, they have a voice where they could. So but it's still going after other people. And
I mean this is a very exaggerative thing, but if some shit happens, right, you know, like, and going back into cancel culture, if some shit happens with an artist, a celebrity, a person, right, that says some foul shit or something, you know, what do you want to do? Like, do you want to take them out? Do you want them to just not exist anymore? Like, they're still here. Like, Louis C.K. is still a comedian. What do you want to do? Are you gonna just strip him of everything? You want to see him homeless in the fucking, you know, like, what do you want?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it just sounds like you just want to say a bunch of shit. And then once you're done, like, and the fire cools and there's just smoke now, it's like, now what?
Jeez, that's such a pattern too. It's just like, you know, fire burns, it goes out and everyone forgets.
Yeah. And then on to the next burning of the, you know, fucking person, bridge, whatever you want to do.
There always has to be someone in that spot though, you know? It's like blame for problems sort of thing. Like, this is why America is wrong. Because of this person. This person reminds us of why it's wrong.
Ooh, you want a hit song that does that exactly, but we all love? This Is America.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then it's still on the spotlight, you know, but this is another thing, and I wanted to say this. Residente said this. He's like, you know how they're tackling the word urban? Have you heard that?
Yeah.
They're like trying to remove
Tyler was talking about.
And I think that's cool, you know, and I am for it. But Residente made an argument where he was like, if we're gonna take out the word urban, why don't we start taking out all the words that we're using incorrectly? And his first word was like America. He's like, we say America when we're trying to say United States.
Yes.
And he's like, America is the whole continent. It's,
North and south.
North, south, central.
Yes.
Honduras, to all my Hondurans.
Shout out Honduras. Baleadas.
But Baleadas, Tajadas, hey. No,
Hey.
but yeah, it's like, if we're going to really start, and that's the thing, we look so minuscule. And that's what I think also Dave Chappelle was trying to say was like, we tackle the individual instead of attacking the system.
Yeah.
And if we were to attack the system, all of us could unite under the same umbrella. Like, yo, we're all against this shit, the big shit. You know what I mean? And it's in our own way, whether it's gay fucking rights, whether it's veganism, whether it's fucking Black Lives Matter, whether it's kids in cages. We're all fighting the same system. And it's like, let's stop acting like we hate each other. That's not going to change anything. Right. Let's all unite. That's the point, And so I think that's my main argument on all that shit. Like, if we're really going to try to do change, we're going to have to try to do change together. And if some people don't agree with you, well, fuck it. Let's see what we do agree on. And let's change those bits first. And let's get to the other shit, as we climb the ladder.
Exactly. It's all about progress. And yes, no, you're right. You're 100% right. It's about progress. It's about working together with, against the evils that want to keep their power, right?
Yeah.
And it's why it's important to do what you can, whether it's protesting or posting online in a positive way.
Yeah, or donating.
Votes.
Or voting.
Is the most important.
I love how or votes.
Yeah.
Yes, vote.
I'm looking at you.
That is true.
Don't forget to vote.
But no, I do. You're right. And not even just, although some people have their own conspiracies on voting, it's still a thing you can do.
Right.
And then that goes for everything else. Like, you can fucking make music, go make flyers, go post some shit, whatever you feel you can do to it's like Urban Outfitters. Urban Outfitters in downtown is something that really upset me. During the probably the peak, right, of protests and stuff, I was in downtown and I see Urban Outfitters, right? And first of all, it says Urban, right? And we can go on that. But they have a marquee outside of their spot in downtown. And I looked at him and I was like, dude, instead of posting anything about Black Lives Matter, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, nothing, or fucking anything, fuck Trump, whatever, they just had their 2019 fashion line, and their walls boarded up. And I was just like, you are not, I can't respect that.
Right.
It just shows how much they're not for the community.
Yeah.
In that sense, you know what I mean?
It's like I can't respect that.
They have more to worry about with their image and who buys their clothes, who can afford that overpriced shit, that sort of stuff, it's not for the community. Especially being in downtown and that part and everything like that, you're not for the community.
Yeah.
You're not.
And it's just, those are the things, it's like, you could have done something. I'm not saying let people riot your store. Okay, I get it. Protect your store, whatever. It's business. But you have literally a marquee. That's what your marquee is for, is to say shit. You know what I mean? Coming soon.
We even saw Gap, bro. Fucking shout out Gap at Santa Monica. They tagged their own place.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
have Black Lives Matter.
Yeah,
And
that was very interesting. Yeah, that was cool though.
That's Gap, bro.
Yeah,
That's the
Gap did that
That's
in
the Gap. Yeah.
That's the Gap. But no, the point is whatever you can do, and it's not just big businesses, because at the end of the day, big business is always going to be just big business. Right. But you individually, the people who are retweeting this, the people who are typing this shit on Instagram or whatever, just do something. Whatever it is that you can do something. And I think that's all we could ask for. For
we have momentum. Use it. You know what I mean?
Look at you. Good bow. Bro, we got almost 1,000 views on that.
I know, we did. Just for reference, me and Miguel and I made a video about the Black Lives Matter protest movement and police brutality.
Yeah.
And we ended up just making this song where we just got all of our frustration and our anger out. And we started screaming. We started just saying a bunch of things that we just felt we're very passionate about. You know what I mean?
How
I myself
talked
more about. Well, I talked about mental health, which I'm a big advocate for. You have to make sure that your mental health is your number one priority. Mm-hmm. I'm a psychology major, just a little context. But bow.
Hashtag 2020.
Shout out mental illness.
Shout out mental.
That's from my Zach Fox fans out there.
I know. And Kenny Beats fan. I'm a Kenny Beats fan, bro. Oh, if anybody's a Kenny Beats fan, dude, hit me up, because let's make some beats, bro.
If you know Zach Fox or Thundercat, hit me up, bro. Just saying, bro. A FaceTime call would be dope.
Anyway, psychology,
Yeah, no, I see all these psychology majors and our next generation of therapists and just rehab workers and all these people that are meant to like help people. And I've been like doing my own research, and like I think if we're not ready to have this conversation right now as a society, then the next generation is gonna have progress, right? And like we're working towards progress, and like for the people that have to have these conversations with people who are not mentally well, I think they have to be fit themselves, and if you're not ready to have that type of conversation with the people close to you or like yourself at all, like what are you doing working out there, like trying to help other people, like that's why our system is fucked too, did you watch that Netflix special of Gabriel Fernandez?
Yes.
No, I have not. What film?
Yeah, okay, so
Pause.
Give it context.
It is it's a docu-series about the trials of Gabriel Fernandez, who was a little boy who was beaten and murdered in Palmdale by his parents.
Oh, okay. All right.
It was super sad. I was crying like a lot of the time. It was
really
it was terrible.
It's really sad.
But it's very important, and I'm glad I watched it. But yeah, it still hurts.
What'd you get out of it?
I got to know more of the evils and some of the people fighting that, right? We focused a lot on the attorney who was defending Gabriel, trying to prosecute his parents. And he also experienced similar things as a child abuse and things like that. Yeah. And it's just, I think, child abuse is another thing we have to fight and protest for.
Again, people aren't ready for these conversations,
right? Because it is terrible, like to think that.
Yeah, we are. We're getting there, but it's just like I haven't watched it and stuff like that. But I do think that there is more shit like that, and a lot of the times I think people are just afraid to have these, like, to be, to admit, like, yo, I was a person who was abused as a child. Like, that's not an easy thing to admit,
or to say I spanked my kids, probably maybe too hard, and, like, to say sorry about that.
But it's like accountability, and I think that's why we have to have these conversations. That's why I think a show like that would be so meaningful, because it's just like, whoa, this kid got abused, this person got abused, like, oh shit, okay, maybe I'm not crazy. People who are experiencing this could be like, maybe I'm not, like, okay.
And I think that's something I like about quarantine. I have a love-hate relationship with like Netflix shows and stuff, or Netflix documentaries specifically, just because of like their purpose, their intention, and like just kind of like exploiting some of these stories. Yeah. But I think that's what I like about quarantine, because everyone was kind of forced to watch these things. If something was trending on Netflix, then it's like almost everyone in our U.S. society was watching it. You know what I mean? So everyone was having that conversation. But then going back to like how we were talking about earlier, like it burns a fire and then it fades out. We've had so many more cases of child abuse and stuff pop up ever since. Yeah, it's not changing directly, but we know that the target of our feelings, our emotions, is the system. It goes to like how the social workers are overworked. It goes into like how enforcement doesn't give a shit. Because maybe they're not paid enough. Maybe they're just not being taken care of, in a mental health sort of way. We need psychiatrists and therapists for these social workers and psychiatrists and officers, because even
it
helps.
Go ahead, and even the people who get like the phone calls. Facts. The 911 phone calls,
the shit they have to go through.
Imagine having to pick up the phone and being like, "Hey, my uncle just stabbed my like aunt or whatever the fuck,"
You become so desensitized to it.
And they're just like, "Oh, for sure, yeah, we're gonna send backup," and then you just go home to your child, like. Yo, you gotta, so that's the thing, it's bigger. Like, you stop attacking individuals. Like, although maybe, and I'm not justifying anybody, but I'm just saying, like, although shit is crazy and crazy shit happens, we're not gonna change anything by just pinpointing at one person and being like, you're the problem. Like, no, they're not the problem. The fucking system is the problem.
And humans aren't inherently evil. That's my theory. They're not inherently evil. Okay. The people that we so-called believe are inherently evil, that's just been a morph through like how parenting has got them. Even then, like if it's a disorder, if it's like a gene disorder, it's either genes or just how you've been nurtured. Like, there is always a way to prevent it from getting to a further extent. It's just a matter of how much we care about like helping those people. How much the system cares about helping those people and putting those funds to those people.
How much the people care, because all of us. And here's the thing, and we're like kind of going on to like the closing this off, but. Whatever you agree to listen to, whatever you agree to watch, like what you choose to like consume, the media, you're agreeing with everything that they agree with those people. So if I read a book and I go, damn, this book is right, like, you know, this is crazy and it's 300 pages, you agreed whatever this person was trying to tell you, you agreed to that. So stop acting like you're not part of the, like, we list the reason why, let's say, like YG or like other fucking artists, you know, are fucking huge is because we go, yeah, I want the bitches, I want the money, that shit's crazy. You agree. And you don't even realize subconsciously you're just agreeing to the things that you're against. And so it's just like, take a moment to look back, like, what are you doing?
Definitely.
Like, what, and experience is a huge thing. I think, like, everybody has a different experience. I can't talk to you about certain shit that probably you're dealing with, but the same way you can't talk to me about certain shit that I've been dealing with. So it's just like, let's find that common ground. Let's meet in the middle. You're not right, but you're also not wrong. So let's just find out what are the rights that we've dealt with and what are the wrongs, you know, and let's agree on those things and try to change as we go on. Because, like, unless you're trying to kill somebody for their thoughts, what else could you do? You're gonna strip them of their money, strip them of their children, like strip them of their humanity. Like, what do you want to do for the person that you're like against?
Right.
You know, I think it's about the system. Let's take down the fucking system. How do we do that together? Because we can't do it one by one. My retweet isn't gonna do that.
Right.
My song isn't gonna do that. You know, but I'm down to have that conversation. And how could we get there?
All I want to share is this quote that I saw. It says, it said something. I'm gonna paraphrase the first part, but it says like, our society will only be whole and peaceful again when the power of love overcomes the love of power. I'm gonna digest that. Hold up. Shout out Desmond Tutu. I just thought about it from earlier. Desmond Tutu didn't say that, but I like Desmond Tutu. I did a report. I did a report on Desmond Tutu back in 8th grade. Shout out Desmond Tutu.
Oh my god.
Right.
Okay. Well, you know what? Yeah. I mean, you're right though. You're right.
What were we gonna say? That? What were we gonna say?
I don't.
When I said Desmond Tutu.
Oh, I was gonna say I think I like one of his, an actual quote of his. I think though.
Silence.
Is it the one that says I fucking forgot. In times of oppression, by remaining silent, you decide to choose the side of the oppressor. Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
So, somewhere around there. It's that quote, but that's like, I really like that quote, and it's true. Like, and staying silent isn't just like not retweeting. It's just not saying anything. You know?
Yes.
You know,
to all of that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yo. Low key, we can just fucking go on for days on this.
We could.
But we're now on about the 40th minute.
Wow.
Hey, you got pretty close to that.
Huh?
You got pretty close to that quote. But yeah,
what's the quote? Let's finish off on that quote, and then we'll finish off on like final words.
If you are neutral in situations of injustice, you have chosen the side of the oppressor.
And that's the quote right there. That's a really good quote to end off on. Is there any last words that you guys have for the people of Season 2, Episode 1 of On the Red Couch?
If I want to just say anything, I am excited for the coming episodes. Mm-hmm. I want the people listening to reach out to us, talk to us, ask questions.
Tell it, and if you don't agree with us,
yeah,
we're down to have a conversation. Please don't just cancel us. That would suck.
Right.
After episode 1.
Like, yo, these guys on some bullshit. Like,
right. And there's always room. We can scooch over. We can have another person, right?
Yeah, so, for sure. We can, and then we're gonna have guests. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you guys for having me.
I think that there's you guys are gonna be reoccurring. You know, we'll be coming back. Who knows? As these episodes are made, we're gonna put them out. I think, you know, like, we don't need to spend too much time. We'll see what else comes up. You know, you're caught up with us the same way we're caught up with the world. We don't know what the fuck's going on.
Right. Day by day is how we
Yeah, exactly, man. So, yeah, I think final words for me. Go listen to Sanctuary Tapes Volume 1. That would me and actually, we're the only 3 that were on that. So here we are. Hello, guys. But you know, we're working on Volume 2. If anybody wants to jump on Volume 2, that's another shout out. If you guys want to, hit me up. We can figure something out.
Hey, like I said, follow Life from the Sanctuary. Maybe you guys could like talk to us there too. Give me some coffee recipes, you know.
Oh yeah, we're trying to get to know.
That's some foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing. What is he gonna do? What did he say in the beginning? Wait on it.
Wait on it.
You got your wristwatch on? Wait on it. Set your timer to wait on it o'clock.
Hey guys, guess what time it is?
What time is it?
4:20.
Wow.
Ba-ba-ba-bum.
And I think it's about that time for us to call it a day.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Go vote.
Go vote. Thank you guys.
Have a good one.